most comfortable braking for the passengers. The only realistic way to allow for the increase in stopping distance is to increase your following distance. Another difference in the van is in your ability to see around you. The van has what are called blind spots, only some of which can be counteracted with mirrors or other similar devices. These blind spots are, first and foremost, to the rear of the vehicle. Next, off to each side alongside the van. And third, generally along the right side of the van. Here, the driver cannot see behind the van, nor can the driver routinely see either cone to the side. These cones are set just out of the range of the side view mirror and behind the driver's normal peripheral view. These blind spots are difficult on the left side, as one careless moment can create a sideswipe collision. But on the left, the driver has the option of turning to see a car or a pedestrian in this area. To the right, the problem is compounded. There is the same vision problem, but there is no option to turn one's head to see what dangers may be in place. There are ways to allow for these vision problems. First, backing. The easiest way to avoid backing accidents is to simply avoid backing. While this is not always possible, as the driver, you should always keep it in mind. If you must back, remember, the rule is, always back into an area so you can pull forward to enter traffic. When you must back, be sure to spot any hazards as you approach the area where you are going to back. Use a helper to spot for you, or, if in doubt, simply stop, get out, and check. This may seem like a lot of trouble to go through, but it is a lot less trouble than trying to explain a needless, preventable backing accident. Next, for vision problems to the side, the first safety step is to know that the problems are there and drive to allow for them. Proper setting of mirrors, as explained earlier, can do a great deal to minimize the problem. Third, you should protect your right side. Drive so that it is impossible for another vehicle to slip between you and the curbing to your right. Set your position close to the curb in city traffic, and you will minimize right side vision hazards.
The last difference between your van and a car is in height. This difference affects where your van can go, and it also affects what we call handling. Handling is a word we use to describe the comfort and the feeling that a vehicle provides as you drive it. A van has a special set of handling characteristics which you need to be aware of. These characteristics are a result of the van's height and its weight and its engineering.
Handling differences are most often felt in cornering. Because the van is a high vehicle, corners should be taken more slowly to minimize leaning. A van also has a much wider turning radius than a car, and often, turns that might be possible with a smaller vehicle are simply not possible in a van. This high vehicle characteristic also provides a different feel on wet roadways. A van could become unstable and break traction if quick movements at high speeds are attempted. Loss of traction is a very real possibility, and this will be a situation that you may not be able to correct. To assure absolute safety, slower speeds, combined with gradual movements and lane changes, are definitely in order. One additional safety point for you to remember. Your van is equipped with some reflective triangles to be used in case of trouble or breakdown. It is vital that in your pre-trip inspection you make sure that they are in the van. When using them, place them correctly. Information comes with the triangles telling you where to place them. But for the record, they are generally placed behind the van at distances of 10, 100, and 200 feet from the rear of the vehicle.
There are a dozen accident prevention tips we can share with you here. These are by no means all of the tips you'll ever need or hear about, but these provide a good start on keeping you and your Vanpool accident-free.
Step 1 for Vanpool safety is driver condition. You, the driver, are the single biggest safety feature in your van. You simply must be well rested, fully attentive to the job of driving, and keep a good attitude toward things, regardless of what may occur around or in front of you. 2. Right-of-way. One of the keys to driving defensively at all times is understanding the term right-of-way. If you understand what this means to a defensive driver, and you drive accordingly, you'll stay out of a lot of problems. To a defensive driver, there is no such thing as right-of-way. As you approach an intersection where you have a green light, you might be tempted to drive on through, assuming you're right-of-way. But until everyone else has stopped for their red light and have clearly seen you and yielded to you, you just can't trust them. Take the time to check to be sure that others are yielding to you, then proceed, keeping a clear lookout for those who can't or won't give way when required. 3. Entering the flow of traffic. Your van should be obvious to other traffic. It's larger than many other vehicles traveling on the roadway, yet people can and do miss it entirely. They can even look right at you and never see you. So, before pulling into traffic, make eye contact with the other driver and be sure that they have seen you. What is more, you need to look every bit as carefully as you expect others to. Searching with your eyes, alternately looking near and far, left to right, with occasional mirror checks, is a good way to assure that you have every expectation of seeing all of the possible problems around you. Highway lane choice is important. It dictates the kinds of situations you are likely to encounter. Choosing your lane correctly can keep accident-causing situations to a minimum. On the highway, the right lane, called the conflict lane, is where you encounter lots of merging traffic. The left lane, the passing lane, is often too fast for safe driving. Whenever possible, use a center lane. It's a good compromise between speed and position. You'll have extra ways to escape trouble, both to the left and to the right. One last point about lanes. Commuter lanes generally move well, but be aware of traffic cutting in front of you, particularly in very heavy traffic conditions. 5. Following distance. Nearly 1/2 of all accidents could be prevented if only drivers would change one habit. That habit is tailgating. And the solution to rear-ender accidents is maintaining a safe following distance. Here, we are maintaining a 4-second following distance. That is, the correct distance. How do we measure this? It's very simple. We observe traffic ahead, watch the vehicle in front pass some fixed point, and then count. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. We should not arrive at that same fixed point before we have completed our counting. It worked pretty well here, but what about heavier traffic? Even if traffic cuts in front of you, simply setting your speed slightly below the person in front of you will eventually allow you to regain your safety margin. You may not always have 4 seconds of space, but you should always be working toward it. And remember, you cannot be the most aggressive driver on the road and still maintain a 4-second gap. 6. Pedestrians. There are no easy ways to prevent pedestrian accidents, as some pedestrians seem determined to get themselves hurt. Pedestrian safety is our job, and we do this by allowing for their errors, making sure they are given the right-of-way, and in that way keeping everyone safe. Not an easy task,